Good afternoon, boys and girls, mommies and daddies, oops, and grandmommies and grandpoppies. Today's story is, I'm sorry, the lights are glaring in my glasses. It didn't look good if I took off the lights, but we'll try it here. Sorry. Well, doesn't glare as much. Okay, we're going to go with this one, I suppose. The boys and girls decided to bring Miss Eileen a flower every day. But of course, being first grade boys and girls, they didn't make out a list as who was going to bring them on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So today is Tuesday, yesterday was Monday, and 3 of the boys and girls brought her flowers, and she said, "Oh, how nice." She says, "Thank you, boys and girls." And she had a vase in the storeroom, and so she went and got it, and she put the flowers in water, and she put them on her desk. Well, today, every one of the boys and girls brought her a flower, and she goes, "Now, wait a minute, boys and girls, what's this going on anyway?" She says, "I really do like all these flowers, but," she says, "I don't even know if I have room in my vase or not." Well, she stuck them all in, and she did have room. It was crowded, but it looked pretty, and they were so happy. And she says, "Boys and girls," she looked around the room, she says, "I want to thank you for the flowers." She says, "It's not my birthday, and it's not a special holiday." She says, "Why do you keep bringing me flowers?" And they all giggled and giggled and giggled. And she thought, there's something going on. I wonder what it is. Well, Patty Pig said, "Okay, Miss Eileen, we decided we'll tell you how come we're giving you all the flowers. Because you were so nice when we did the coloring outside on the sidewalk, and we get to go to Savannah, Georgia, and we know," where are we going, Savannah, Georgia, or Jacksonville? It was supposed to be Savannah, Georgia originally. Did they change it to Jacksonville and I don't know about this, or am I knowing about it and forgetting? We'll have to look that up, won't we? Anyway, the boys and girls are excited, as Patty is telling Miss Eileen, and we just wanted to say thank you in the bestest way that we know how to say thank you. And with that, the alligator got up and he said, "So, Miss Eileen, all the boys and girls are picking flowers for you all this week, so you better get some vases lined up." And she said, "Aw," she said, "that's so sweet of you, boys and girls." She said, "Well, I just do declare, I am so surprised." And with that, they started their lessons for today. And of course, they had the Lord's Prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance before they started their lessons. And they were in a reading group, and the story was pretty cute, and they all enjoyed the story, and that made it a lot easier if everybody knew what they were talking about and that they enjoyed the story. That made it so much easier for Miss Eileen to ask them questions to see what they had learned. You always should learn something from every story that you read. So it got to be lunchtime, and she carried her flowers down to the table that they sat at for lunch, and everybody was admiring them, and so they just were having a real good day. And all of a sudden, the fire alarm bell rang. Oh, well, they knew what to do. They'd only done it one other time. So she reminded them, she says, "Okay, boys and girls, get in line like that you're supposed to. Hold hands with your partners, and let's go." So they all got in line, they all held each other's hand, and they marched down the stairs and out the door and over to the area in the playground where they were supposed to go. And they knew where it was because there was a big tree there. So they went straight for the tree. Well, you know what was fun? The tree sat in kind of in the middle of the back of the school. And every teacher had picked that tree. So here we have this tree and this line of little boys and girls here, and a line of little boys and girls there, and a line out this way, and a line out that way of all the classes. Now, didn't that look cute? That looked like a wagon wheel. So, of course, they were hollering back and forth at their brothers and sisters, if they had any in school, you know, and just having a great time. And all of a sudden, here comes the fire trucks around the corner with their sirens going, and the bells are ringing, and the dogs are barking. And thank goodness they got out of the fire truck and they ran into the building, the school, and there wasn't any fire. I don't know how come that alarm went off, but it wasn't any fire. So they were safe to go back in their rooms. And Mrs. Lee, the principal, she said, "Thank you, Mr. Farman. Thank you so much." She says, "I was so worried that we were going to lose our school. And our boys and girls would just be, they would be so upset about that." And he says, "Well, Miss Lee, I tell you what." He said, "Sometimes those alarms go off and they're not supposed to." He says, "We're going to come out tomorrow, and we will check all of your alarms and see if some of the wires are not hooked up right." And he says, "And we'll fix you all up so that it won't ring unless there is a reason to." And she says, "Thank you, Mr. Farman." She says, "I do appreciate that." Mrs. Lee was that way. She was very kind and appreciative. Well, it got to be the end of school. The bell rang, and this time it was the bell and not the fire alarm. And so they all went out to their mamas and got in the cars, and some of the kids got on the bus. They didn't have too many kids riding the bus because some of the kids walked home because they were real close to school. And then the mamas came and got them, the ones that lived in the woods. All the mamas came to get the kids because it was a little bit farther away. And then the rest of the kids lived on that side of town, and they took the bus home. So it worked out real well. They got home, and Mommy Piggy says, "Do you have any homework?" And Squiggly said, "Yeah, we got some homework, but it won't take very long. So Allie and Little Bad Wolf is going to come over about 4 o'clock. So we're going to hurry and do our homework. And yes, Mommy, you can check our homework, but I know it's going to be good because we already got the answers down." She said, "How'd you get the answers, young man? Did you copy something?" And he says, "No, Mommy, Miss Eileen gave us the answers. We just got to put them in the right spot." And she kind of smiled, and she says, "Well, I hope you get the right spots because I'm going to check your papers." He says, "Okay." And Wiggly and Piggly just laughed and grinned all over the place. And Mommy says, "Now, why are you laughing so hard?" And Little Piggy says, "Because I think I know where all my answers are going to go." And Wiggly says, "Well, I know where mine's going to go." She's looking at these boys, and she's thinking to herself, this is a real strange test that no, it's not a test. It's real strange homework that they've got to do, isn't it? Well, there had to be a reason. She couldn't wait to read the papers to find out what the reason was. So they did their homework, and a knock on the door, there stands Allie, and there stands Little Bad Wolf, and off they ran to just goof around. So while they were goofing around, they decided to go down to Mr. Farmer Brown's barn and down that street to see if those new people had moved in yet. The car was there in front of the house. Little Bad Wolf says, "I think they're moving some furniture in, aren't they?" And the alligator stood on his tippy toes, and he said, "Yeah," he says, "they're moving some furniture in, all right." Wonder why they're not moving. I wonder why they're not. Little Bad Wolf says, "I don't know, but my papa said that they were not going to move in yet." Mr. Farmer Brown said that, and you know Mr. Farmer Brown always knows what's going on around here. And he says, "They are staying at our hotel." Squiggly says, you didn't tell us that. And Alligator says, you sure didn't tell us that. And Little Bad Wolf says, oh, I kind of forgot about it because I haven't seen them yet. You haven't seen them yet either? How are we going to know who these people are? And how are we going to know if they're good people? And how are we going to know if they got any boys and girls for us to play with? And Little Bad Wolf says, well, I'm sorry, but I didn't know that was my job. Squiggly says, oh, we're just teasing you. We'll find out. Well, with that, they turned around and walked back home. And it was about supper time. So Allie went to his way to supper, and Little Bad Wolf went that way to Mr. Farmer Brown's house for supper, and the piggies went in the house. Well, the first thing that Mommy Piggy said to them is, well, boys, I read your homework. And Piggy says, yep. And what did we get? We got 100, didn't we? We got an A plus 100. And Mrs. Piggy says, well, yes, you did, but you know, I sometimes kind of wonder what kind of homework Miss Eileen is giving you. This was a cake recipe. And Squiggly says, I know it was, Mommy. She gave all of us a cake recipe because you know what? Mrs. Piggy says, uh-oh. She says, what? Well, Miss Eileen said that she likes cake for her birthday, and her birthday is coming up next week, and so we're all supposed to make cupcakes and bring them in the room for her birthday. I think I should call some of the other mommies and see what they're doing. And Squiggly says, well, that's the truth, Mommy. That's what she wants us to bring is cupcakes. And so we're going to follow the recipe, and everybody got a different kind of cake to make. Oh, Mrs. Piggy said, well, that's interesting now. Okay, I think we can do that. What kind of cake do you want to make her? And Wiggly says, well, I liked my birthday cake the last time we had my birthday. It was good. And Squiggly says, oh, my birthday cake was better. And Wiggly says, mine was the bestest of all. And you know, our mommy makes the bestest cakes in this whole forest, this whole woods. And that's why I want my birthday cake. And Mrs. Piggy says, okay, I got an idea. She says, how many cupcakes are you supposed to bring? Well, if everybody in the class brought 12 cupcakes, that'd be a lot of cake. So that's what Miss Eileen said. And she also told the boys and girls that if their mothers didn't have time to cook, if they were working, and if they didn't have anybody to make a cake for them, not to worry. That she knew that there'd be plenty of cakes to go around, plenty of little cupcakes to go around. So Mrs. Piggy said, well, if you have to bring 12, then what we can do is we can make 4 cupcakes like you like, Wiggly, and Piggly, 4 cupcakes like you would like to make, and Squiggly, 4 cupcakes that you would like, and that makes 12 cupcakes, 1 dozen cupcakes. Oh, Mommy, that is such a great idea. And then some boys and girls will have 12 of the same kind, and some boys and girls might have 6 and 6. Oh, that's a clever idea, Mommy. And Mrs. Piggy says, I know, that's why I'm your mommy. So with that, they had their supper, and they watched a little bit of TV, because they were kind of running late tonight. And at 8 o'clock, she says, okay, boys, it's time to go to bed. And up the stairs they went, and got their jammies on, and they said their prayers, And so she turned out the lights, and she says, okay, now, you boys just dream about all the cupcakes that you're going to bring. And she turned off the light. Oh, she's going downstairs, and she's thinking, I think I better call some of these mamas and see what they're going to do, because we want to make sure we have enough cupcakes. And she got on the phone, and that's what she did. Well, she finally went to bed. So the next morning, some of the ladies came to her house for coffee, and Babe started talking about the cupcakes. So they knew that some of the mamas that lived in town worked. And so they called those ladies, and they said, you don't have to worry about making cupcakes. We're going to make some for your child. If you'll tell us what each one of your children, what kind they like, that's what we'll make for them. Oh, the ladies in town that worked, they were so nice, and they said, oh, Mrs. Piggy, we can't thank you enough. And she says, well, we ladies got together this morning, and we decided that's what we were going to do to help out. And so they wrote the names down of the boys and girls, and they wrote down what kind of cupcakes they liked so they could take them to school. Now, wasn't that nice? That is helping each other, and that's what all of us are supposed to do, is to help each other. Whether it's our brother and sister, or our mommy and our daddies, or maybe the lady next door, or the man down the street. And that's one of the reasons why the piggies like to mow the yards and trim the trees and trim the hedges, because they like to help people. So, boys and girls, I want you to remember to always be polite, always try to help somebody, and don't be selfish with your toys. With that, we will end for the day. GrandMommy has a hair appointment. I have to get beautiful. Tomorrow, my daughter's birthday is today, but tomorrow we're going to go out and celebrate. So, let's go and say goodbye. And what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to share and comment and like. Share and like and comment. Okay? All right. See you Friday. And we still haven't heard from the people that's moving in down Mr. Farmer Brown's street, have we? Maybe we will by Friday. I hope so. I hope so, because the boys and girls want to know if they got any new people in their class. Do you think they do? Maybe. We'll see. All right. We'll see you next time.